What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Today's Friday. I just got home from work and I came straight to record this video. I've been wearing Vanille Havane for the past couple of days again. I originally purchased this in 2020 and have been wearing it for a couple years now. It has just started to come up again. It's gaining popularity. I did originally do a video of this 3 years ago. My thoughts are still the same. I still think this is a gorgeous fragrance, one of the best creations of all time, one of the best tobaccos of all time, and one of the best vanillas of all time, and perfect for the fall. So I thought it would be good to introduce this fragrance to those of you who have not tried it, and maybe it will, encourage you to go and try this out, as it is a beautiful creation from start to finish. And another reason I'm doing this video is because I have the new Vanille Havane Coeur d'Oud coming next month when they start to ship. So that's going to be basically this with some oud in there. Super excited for that. Hopefully it lives up to the expectations. I'm sure it will. They always produce great things, and I think Antoine Lee is behind the Coeur d'Oud as well. So super excited about that. But today is about Vanille Havane, and at the very end of the video I'm going to recommend a few fragrances that are similar in not composition, but similar in vibe and feel, and maybe you can try those as well. Consider this a mini fall recommendation list as well. So like I said, I wore this a couple of times this past week. It has been 100 degrees in Texas, and this, although it is heavy, it works well. It is not cloying at all. This is very dry. It is a very dry, earthy tobacco. If you spray it on, which I've sprayed on a couple sprays already today, but if you spray it on, it starts off very fruity. Dried fruits are in there. I get a lot of plum, slight florals, but you don't really pick up on those unless you're really digging. But it's so perfectly blended that it just kind of acts as a background character. But the cacao is there. It has rum, so it is a boozy fragrance, at least at the top, at the opening notes it's very boozy, but all throughout this is a very heavily, super dry tobacco fragrance. And the vanilla is there at the top, but it doesn't really begin to shine and kind of express itself as you get towards the mid and towards the base. That's when it really becomes a different fragrance. I feel like this one is a two-part fragrance. You have the first half that is its own thing, its own experience, and then you have the base where you will fall in love with this. And same thing goes for the beginning. You can fall in love with the beginning, and then you will be reminded as to why this is incredible. I don't have many tobacco fragrances in my collection, and honestly it's probably because of this. This is peak tobacco in my opinion. It's dry, you can feel the texture, and there's not much more I can say about it. It's not too sweet. The vanilla in here is not synthetic at all. It uses the vanilla beans, it uses all kinds of aspects of the vanilla and the cacao, and it's just this beautiful creation of dryness. It's smooth. Even though it's dry, it's still really smooth and composed. No sharp edges at all that I can detect. It's very, very well blended, and once you try it, you'll kind of see what I'm saying. It just flows so perfectly. And when I first got this, I was wearing it 3 times a week maybe, so I used the bottle pretty quickly. It's got some wear and tear in there. Showed it lots of love, got lots of compliments all the time. Like I said, this is perfect for the fall. It's peak tobacco for me, so if you haven't tried this, highly recommend. I used to own Tobacco Vanille, you know, an old bottle of Tobacco Vanille, which I absolutely loved. It's one of the fragrances that got me into the hobby and got me to experience the Tom Ford private line. And this was like, you know, 10 plus years ago where I first smelled Tobacco Vanille. And I had a bottle, but after smelling this, Tobacco Vanille really didn't do it for me anymore. So I ended up, you know, just sticking with Vanille Havane. Did not regret it at all. It performs. It's a little, let's say it's a more upscale version of Tobacco Vanille. This is, whereas Tobacco Vanille is very playful, very sweet, vanilla. This one's more of a reserved vanilla, very creamy, very dry, and way more sophisticated in my opinion. But you know, they both have their purposes, but I really enjoy this a lot more. So not much more that I could say about Vanille Havane other than I love it, and it's one of my top fragrances of all time. It definitely cracks the top 10. I might even put it in top 5. That video is still on the way. I'm having trouble selecting what's going to be on there, but I think I'm going to do a top 20 fragrances, which is already hard in itself, and I don't have a huge collection, but that'll be something for me to sit down and decide on. And I guess another point that I would say about this one is that if you're familiar with Tom Ford's Plum Japonaise, this one gives me, you know, a slight nod to that. You got that plum note. I feel like there's some cinnamon here, but honestly I think it's just the tobacco that's acting as a nice sparkly spice, if you will. If you like Vanille Havane, you definitely like Musk Ravageur by Frederic Malle. Another vanilla, another spice fragrance, but this one has musk, and you know, instead of tobacco you have musk and vanilla and spices. That just is also perfect for the fall, very masculine as well. You can pick this up secondary in a lot of places. Costco has 100 ml bottles for really cheap. If you live in the US, you can definitely pick it up there, or if you want to just try it, you can, you know, get a decant or something. Another one that's you might enjoy is this one. So this is from Montclair. This is Les Roches Noires, and something amberwood here, a blend of amberwood. I have no idea, but I do know that this is another very dry fragrance, very peppery, and just this one's more linear compared to the other two that I mentioned, but it is fun to wear. I do enjoy wearing it. I got it, I don't know, maybe 2-3 months ago, and I've been, you know, maybe used 10 ml already, which is saying a lot considering I don't like to you know, waste the fragrance per se, but they are meant to be worn, and I have been wearing it quite a bit. It's just very simple to wear for me. The ratings are terrible on Fragrantica. They're 3.6 out of 5, but sometimes those super low ratings are some of my favorite fragrances that I've ever owned. I think Ganymede Extrait is another one of those where the ratings are terrible, but it's one of my favorite fragrances of all time. Tom Ford's Noir Anthracite was also super low at some point, but people have come around and started to rate that a little bit higher. So if you like black pepper, if you like spices, and I think this one has a little bit of vanilla, from, not that I remember, but it's a great fragrance. I wore this to visit my grandma once, and when she hugged me, she really She really enjoyed the scent I was wearing. She said it reminded me of my grandpa who had passed away, but she said it smelled like cigarettes. So there you go, very dry. Don't think there's any tobacco in there, but those pepper notes are very scratchy. We got 2 more recommendations from me. This is Patchouli 24. This is a patchouli based fragrance. Not your traditional patchouli. This was more dried, not as green. But this one's has birch tar, and I wouldn't say it's completely dry. It's more of a damp patchouli, followed by one of the most beautiful vanilla dry downs ever, on par with, you know, Vanille Havane's vanilla. This is a secret hidden vanilla fragrance. So if you like vanillas, if you like patchouli, definitely check this out. One of my favorite fragrances of all time as well, although I don't want to use this. I wish I tried the original Patchouli 24. It used to be a lot darker, but this has gotten darker slightly over time, just not super opaque, but you can still see through it. A little yellow, but this is another great one. And then last recommendation is actually another Le Labo, and this one is from the City Exclusive collection. You'll be able to purchase this September 1st, and this is from the Moscow. So this is a Moscow City Exclusive, and this one's benzoin 18. So as the name suggests, this is a benzoin fragrance, very resinous. Another super dry fragrance, and also very spicy. So beautiful composition on this one, very well blended as well, compared to, you know, all the other Le Labos in the, you know, all the other Le Labos in the collection. This one's very balanced, I would say. If you like resins, if you like spice, definitely check out benzoin 18. If I owned what's that pepper one? If I owned Poivre 23, it would definitely be on this list as well, but I don't. So benzoin 19 it is. Another high recommendation for me, although this price is a little steep. So if you enjoyed it, you know, buy it. Luckily I was able to get that one secondhand a couple years ago. But those are my top 5 recommendations in honor of Vanille Havane and in honor of Vanille Havane Coeur d'Oud coming up soon. Let me know what you think of these fragrances. Any tobaccos that y'all recommend to me, or any vanillas, feel free to drop down in the comments. Another one that I would probably put up on this list is a Parfums de Marly. I don't really like to support Parfums de Marly, but Altair is really nice. I do enjoy that one. My friend has it and it smells really good on him. I don't know the perfumer on that one or anything like that, but I know it has, you know, cinnamon, vanilla. It's kind of similar in vein to all of these fragrances. So hope you all have a good weekend, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.